Hi guys, it's Redhead Boo here again with another video. As I promised, this will be the last one of today, which I hope you've enjoyed. I know I haven't uploaded as much as I said I would, but I have been working a lot, which is good because I'll have a lot of money for the next event, which is exciting. But I don't know if you guys know, but on Saturday I had a bit of a crazy day, not going to lie. It was very crazy, but also amazing because I'll just list off what happened and then I'm going to go into detail in every single bit. First of all, I met the Vamps at their album signing. Yeah, my faves. And then I also won a meet and greet with Raksu. What? And then at night I went to see Little Mix at their Summer Hits tour date in Bolton. So I'm just going to do like a basic a basic timeline of what happened with times if I can remember them. If they're not 100% accurate, then I'm not bothered. So on on Saturday morning, I had to wake up very, very early. I got up at 7 o'clock. I know, that is so unlike me because I hate getting up early, but if it's anything to do with like a band or whatever, then I'll get up early, I'm not really bothered. So I had to get up early to go to Manchester to meet the Vamps. So I was very happy about that. Woke up again feeling ill. I always do when I meet the Vamps, even though it would have been my 6th time meeting them, I was still nervous. And yeah, so I got up at 7, decided on my outfit, which was my sunflower 2-piece, which you will see if you check out my vlog. This is not a sponsor. Yeah, I wore that. And I also wore my Vamps VIP wristband that I got at VIP this year, and I also wore my lanyard, and I put my hair in 2 space buns. So yeah, we got to Manchester Arndale Centre car park at around 20 to 10, I want to say. We did leave the house at 8 o'clock to give us enough time, and I did listen to the Vamps album because I was very excited. And yeah, I got to there, met with my friend Helen, and then my mum left us because we had to go into HMV. I had to take my proof that I got priority and go and speak to security to get my album basically. So I found the security guard, and it's funny because every signing I've been to, if it's been in Leeds, Sheffield, wherever, he has always been one of the main security guards to be there. So it was the same guy, and I walked up to him and go, me and my friend have priority for the Vamp signing. He's like, oh, are you Lucy then? And I was like, yeah. And he had this guest list and my name was on there. And my +1, Helen, I got given the standard band day edition album as part of priority, and then my +1, Helen, just had to buy one. She bought the Brad one and got that one signed. So after she'd got in the queue and bought the album, we met up with the same guy and he took us up the stairs to where the signing would be taking place and said, look, your priority is to just go and stand behind that girl. So we go and stand behind her, but there was a lot of queues for the signing, so we were like near the front, and we said to this girl, like, we told her we were priority, and she was like, oh yeah, that's fine, you can go in front of me. And yeah, so we got talking to her for a few minutes and just basically got talking, and then I saw Caitlin and her mum, so I spoke to them, and it was nice because also Caitlin has VIP for the Vamps in Leeds, and yeah, so that'll be exciting. So we waited, and then about 10:05, the boys walked in and sat down at the table. The order was Brad, Tristan, Connor, James. Or was it Brad? It was either Brad, James, Con, Tristan, or Brad, Tristan, Connor, James. I'm not 100% sure about the order, so don't send me loads of hate for getting it wrong. So we went down. No, we got in the queue and waited, and then they came in, and then the sign-in begun. So the sign-in had started, and it was moving quite fast, and the way they did it was they got people in twos to go up. So it was like 2 people, they would go, the next 2, and so on and so on and so on. And that for me was really well organised. I was so happy with how organised it was, because I've been to a few vamp sign-ins and they've been, like, I knew it was going to be rushed, but that was probably the longest I've ever got with them, and that was really good. Like, I got longer at a sign-in which I basically didn't pay for than I did VIP, which does say a lot. So yeah, so we did get quite a while with them, and I'm just going to explain what happened. Walked up to Brad, saw he was in his glasses, basically had a meltdown, and just stared at him, because that's all I do at Brad, just stare at him. And yeah, so I said hi to Brad, he said hi back, and as I was moving on, he did ask me how I was, but because I was already with the other members, I couldn't quite hear him, so I did end up blanking him, which I do feel really bad about, because if I would have heard him, then I probably would have said, "Oh, I'm good, thank you." But I didn't really hear him at the time, so yeah, I just felt really bad. And then I said hi to whoever the next member was. I can't really remember, I'm sure I will. And yeah, and then I moved on to Connor, of course. I'm a Connor girl, 100%. Would do anything for that boy. Love him to bits. Always have done. Always will do. So yeah. And we were talking, because me and Connor just talk, and it's nice. And yeah, so we were just talking, and I got out, well, I had them out anyway, but I had them in my hand. I had his Percy Pigs with a note on the front, and I handed them over to him and said, "Connor, these are for you." And then he said one of the cutest things that I never expected him to say. He said, "You're amazing, thank you." What the hell was I meant to say to that? Connor flipping Ball had just called me amazing. That did not seem real. I was like, what? How am I meant to react to that? I mean, I've just been called amazing by my favourite member of the Vamps. So I just was like, okay. That was very weird, but also incredible, not gonna lie. So I do know that a lot of people who go to Vamp signings or any signings sometimes like to get their album personally signed to them. And obviously I sort of wanted the same thing. So I was like, I would love it if he could write my name on my album, and then I could leave, so do whatever. And then I just handed him, he'd called me amazing, and I was having a meltdown inside, trying not to show it because I probably would have cried in front of him, and I don't really want to do that because I've never cried in front of a celebrity, but I never want to. Just like I've never screamed in their faces because that's just disrespectful, I find. And then I said to him, "Look, Connor, would you be able to write to Lucy? Like, would you be able to write to Lucy on the album?" And it was quite noisy at that time because obviously there was fans in the background screaming his name and whatever. But obviously, when you're stood in front of them, all of their attention is going to be on you. So he didn't quite hear me, so I was like, what? And I was like, oh, would you be able to sign the album to Lucy? And he was like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. And he wrote in silver pen to Lucy on the album, and that was the best thing ever. So I was very happy. And then I had a little chat with whoever was in the end and then left. And Helen also left, and I thought she was going to break down crying because I did that my first time meeting them. But she didn't, and she was very confident. She was more confident than I was the first time I met them, so good for her. And we just left smiling, very happy. And we basically just walked around Manchester Arndale Centre. We went in a few shops and then went to this market. And in this market there was like loads of little stalls, and we went and just sat down in the sun because it was very warm and very nice. And it was very lovely. So we just chatted, basically just spoke about the Vamps for the whole time, which was understandable because we'd just met them. And yeah, we just spoke about the Vamps and just, yeah. So we went to this market, I bought some sweets for the car, and we got given free windmills from this guy, which was very nice because, yeah, it was fun. And we were just taking loads of selfies and just messing about, and I got her to take a photo of me in front of the I Heart Manchester sign. And then we went to find food, and this is where we got a bit lost because in shopping centres like Arndale, they have these like screens that say where to go to find certain places. So we went to try and find a McDonald's because we were very hungry. And we wanted either a McDonald's or KFC, we didn't care. So we went and found the food court and we got a KFC each, and it was very nice, and we just chatted again. And then we were just looking on Instagram and we saw that the Vamps had posted a story, and it was of Connor Boyle just messing around, being his usual self. So yeah, it was funny. And then we met up with my mum at 1:30, and then we left Arndale and left Manchester at 2:00 because I had to be at the stadium like reception area at 3:15 to 3:30, 3:15 to 3:30, because this is where it gets very, very random, because I had basically won the chance to meet Raksu as they were one of the support acts for Little Mix. So I was like, oh, what the hell, because I'm in this Raksu group chat on Twitter, and basically everyone on there's met them, and I'm always thinking like, I've never met them, I don't think it'll ever happen to me. And then I saw that Ashley had tweeted, and this was a few days before Bolton. I think it was like the Friday or Thursday before, or it might have been the Wednesday. Yes, it was the Wednesday before, yeah. And he'd said, we want to do a few meet and greets with a few people at some of these Little Mix dates, and all of the dates that were on there was one that I was going to, because he was doing it for Hull on the Friday, Bolton on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday Huddersfield. So as I was going to Bolton, I was like, oh my god, I need to do this. And basically he had to email saying, I'm going to this date, would I be able to get a meet and greet with Raksu? And you had to give like your name and number and then like a name of a +1. And I basically forgot about the tweet and that I'd sent the email, and then I think it was the day after and I was at work, and I'd gone on my lunch and I'd checked my phone and I put my free up 4G mobile data on, and then that's when I saw this email, because I have an email app, and when I log into it, whenever I get an email, a notification will come up. And I saw one from Sony, and I remembered that I had in the email it was addressed to Sony. So I was like, what is this? And then I got the email and it said, thank you for responding to this tweet. Would you like to meet Raksu on Saturday? If yes, please reply with like the name of the person and your name, and then we'll get the details sent to you. So obviously I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god. So I messaged the group chat. I was like, guys, this is it. I'm meeting Raksu on Saturday. I was asking for advice because obviously I'd never met them before, and I was like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? What's it going to be like? Because surely not a lot of people will be there. So it got to the Saturday and we'd left, but we did take a wrong turn in trying to find the venue. And obviously I was panicking because we got to the car park like opposite the stadium at 3:30, and it did say in the email, like it had times, and it said if you are late to check in, you will not be allowed to go into the meet and greet. So at this point I was getting very stressed, very angry. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get there and they're gonna say you're too late, you're not going in. I was panicking like mad. I was like, oh my god, there is no way they're gonna let me in. I just thought, you know what, go to the reception anyway, say to security who I am and what I'm there for. You never know. So we got to the place where we had to be because it was very obvious where it was. And I saw this security guard talking to these two women, and then they were taking quite a while, and I think that the other security guard saw me and said to them, look, go and see them two people there. So we approached this security guard and I said, oh, I'm here for the Raksu meet and greet because I won on the email. And then they were like, oh, you're just in time, go through. And this is where it starts getting very, very scary because obviously in a few minutes or whatever I was going to be meeting and talking to Raksu. So obviously I was very, very nervous, very apprehensive of what was about to happen. And yeah, so we get into the building and we get taken to a side and say, look, we're going to take you in this lift and then we're taking you to the room where the meet and greet will happen. So I walked into the lift. Me and my mum and the security guard got in the lift. We made it to the room. We got in the room and there was loads of chairs set out. There was about 10 other people, so it was very, very small. And there was only like 10 or 12 of us actually getting a chance to meet them. So that for me was like mad that I was one of them people who got chosen. I'd won. So we got in, sat down and just waited. It wasn't too long of a wait. And then the woman was like, right, in a few minutes I'm going to tell you all to line up against this wall, and then they'll come in, they'll meet you all, and then you can go and do whatever you want until the gates open or whatever. So at this point I was like, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And obviously a few people might have already met them before. I had never. So I was like, right, okay. And then the woman said, right, can you all just go and stand against the wall now because in a minute they'll be coming. So we all stand against this wall and then these delivery people come in and we're like, that's not Raksu. And then the woman was like, oh no, I got it wrong, they're not here yet. So Then a few minutes after that, she said to us, right guys, I'm not joking now, they're coming, so stand up against a wall. So me and everyone else stood against the wall, and I was right at the back. So I was going to be the last person to meet them. Well, me and my mum were. So I was like, oh my god, that means I'll probably get the longest. And then they all walked in. It was, I think, Ashley, then Miles, then Jam, and then Mustafa. So they all walk in. I'm internally freaking out, like, oh my god, this is actually happening. And yeah, so they all walk in. I'm just there, like, oh god. And they all walk in and go, oh, hi guys. And we're like, hi. And then I think it was Ashley who asked, how are we all? And then no one else spoke. So I was like, oh, good. And then Mustafa just looked at us, me and my mum, and waved at us. And then we waved back and started laughing. Think of stuff to say. Don't just say nothing. So I was like, oh my god, this is not happening. What? Really? So they all start shaking my mum's hand, as you do, and I was like, okay, I may as well start as well. So I just started shaking all their hands, and we got into the topic of like how excited we were for the show, where we'd actually come from, because that's what they were asking everyone. And they were like, oh, where are you from then, girls? And I was like, oh, we're from Knaresborough in Yorkshire. And they all looked as if to say, where's that? And then my mum went, oh, we're near Harrogate, like Leeds area near Harrogate. And Ashley then went, oh, I know Harrogate. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I just say, oh, me and my friend came to see you at X Factor Tour in Leeds. And then this is where we brought up the rubbish weather that was there. And then they were like, oh, did you enjoy our set then? And I was like, yes, absolutely loved it. You were amazing. And they were all being, oh, thank you, thank you. That means a lot. And then we were talking about the weather, because at the time the X Factor Tour was in Leeds was when Britain was hit by the storm with all the snow and everything. And then they were like, well, at least it's sunny and warm today and not snowing, like it was going to be cancelled. I was like, yes, at least it's nice and warm. And then we brought up Summertime Ball, and that's when I started to tease Ashley about Camilla and all that. And we were all just laughing and talking. And we did actually get quite a long time with them, like a nice conversation and just banter, and it was just funny. And like, they're so calming and so talkative, and I think because they were so talkative, like that brought out the talkative side of me. And then security were like, oh, do you want photos then? And I was like, oh yeah. And I handed in my phone, and my mum has got in the middle of Jam and Ashley, and obviously I was like, well, where am I gonna stand? And oh god, that's when I decided to stand in between of Jam and Miles. God. So I stood in between there, and I don't think Miles knew I wanted to stand there. He was like, oh. I was like, oh yeah, sorry, I just thought I'd stand here. And he is very good looking, really, really good looking. And I was like, oh my god. So I go and stand next to them too, and we have like photos, and we got 3, and then one was really, really shit, so I deleted that one. And then we just all left the room, walked down the stairs, and left the reception area. And then after that, we went back to the car. My mum decided to get changed, and then we went back to the venue, and I went and got merch, and then I bought the Little Mix t-shirt, which you would have seen on my other video. I bought the Raksu wristband, and then I also bought the Little Mix lanyard, which was nice. And yeah, then we went inside, and when we got inside was incredible because I actually managed to secure side barrier for Raksu and the other support. And I was like, oh my god, this is so surreal, being barrier for Little Mix. And then, because my mum was moving back a bit, I didn't really want to be stood on my own. So I gave the barrier to 2 young children, which was nice. And then, not that they could have seen much anyway, because they were quite small. And then I stood like second row near the middle for Little Mix, and I did actually get some interactions. I got a wave and a blow, a kiss off Perry, or like a stage kiss and all that. I got Jade looking at me in salute because I was dancing so much. Jessie laughed at me because I got hit by one of the balls and shout out to my ex, and they saw me dancing in Power. And yeah, it was probably one of my favourite Little Mix gigs I've ever been to. It was so good. Like, the whole set list was just incredible. To hear some of the songs I haven't heard in years was insane, and I just left feeling so bloody proud of them because, like, one of my dreams was to always see Little Mix headline their own stadium tour and be like right at the front for it as well. And to say that I was second row for a Little Mix stadium tour was incredible. I never expected to be that close to them, ever. I was so shocked, but so happy that I actually got to be that close to the girls. And yeah, it was just incredible. But yeah, that was basically the end of my story time. But just want to say a quick little message because in 3 weeks on Sunday, I am going to Leeds to see my boys, the Vamps, for the... Let me just work it out because I never like to be wrong. Summertime Ball, North East Live twice, Tour 15, 16, 17, 11th time, and I've also, well, me and Helen have also got VIP, and what that includes is very flipping exciting because we get to watch the boys sound check, which is another dream come true of mine. So that is going to be so exciting. Like, oh my god, I'm not ready for that, but I'm just going to absolutely go for it in sound check because why not. But I've also got meet and greet again, so I'll be meeting my boys again. And for meet and greet, I don't know if you know, but me and my friend are meeting them together, so we're hopefully gonna get 2 photos together, and we're doing like poses because we don't want to just do the standard normal one. Like, we want to just stand out. Well, I know people have done the poses we want to do before, but we just want to do them, and we're sort of doing like a paired up one in a way because we're going to do the whole like Strictly Come Dancing style one, and Helen and Brad are hopefully going to get to go together, me and Connor, and then James and Tristan, which I don't really know how to ask Connor about, but I'm sure he'll be up for it. And then we're going to do like a hugging one, but then we're all going to hug in our pairs rather than like arms around each other. But yeah, it's going to be very nice, and I can't wait to see them again. I'm so excited. But yeah, anyway guys, thank you for watching my story time of my crazy life. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions about anything else that happened that maybe I haven't covered in this video, then you can hit me up on Twitter. My username is @HeldByBronner, All of that is lowercase, no spaces. Or you can comment down below on this video. And yeah, I just hope to see you all very, very soon. But this is Redhead Boo signing off. Bye, guys!